A single silver coin sits on a bare wooden table, catching low light from a window. Someone set it down and walked away, the way a person leaves a debt they mean to settle later. This is where I want to begin, because the gravest wrongs in Islam are rarely dramatic to look at. They begin quietly, in the hands of people who never meant to carry them. This video is about 3 of them, the ones a person can spend a lifetime trying to set right. There is a wrong most schools call graver still, associating a partner with God, but we won't dwell on that one here. This film is about the 3 that live in daily conduct between people. So here is the promise, made with 3 plain objects. The coin is the first thread, the weight of what was never yours to take. A chair, still empty, is the second, the wrong done to another when no one is watching. And a door, closed for now, is the third, the turning away from another person. This film describes actions, not verdicts on the people who commit them. This is faith in practice, where belief becomes daily life. Start with the coin. The chair and the door are waiting. I want to take the coin first, because this is the wrong I find easiest to feel in the hand. The first grave wrong is riba, interest charged simply for the passage of time on money that was lent. Picture a small currency exchange in Amman, teal shutters half drawn, coins and a worn ledger in the dusty afternoon light. Someone borrows a coin. The wrong is not the act of lending money to help someone. It is the coin that comes back heavier, weighted with a sum no work ever earned. Most schools of thought understand the Quran to forbid this outright. A loan given as help should return as help, not as a lever. When money breeds money on its own, a hand offered in aid can quietly turn into a hook. Whole banks now finance homes without charging interest, taking a fixed markup on the sale instead of rent on the loan itself. Scholars still debate where a fair fee ends and forbidden interest begins, but the principle holds. For the family behind that counter, it settles into something ordinary, a loan to a cousin, returned as it left, the weight of what was never theirs to take, set back down. Now the chair that stayed empty after dinner. The second grave wrong is ghibah, backbiting, speaking ill of someone who is absent. The plates are cleared, the lamp is warm, and one chair at the table stands empty. The wrong is not the words being true. It is that the person they are about is not in the room to answer them. Many Muslims are taught that ghibah is compared in one widely cited teaching to eating the flesh of a dead brother, because the absent one cannot answer. The image is meant to unsettle. You would never do the one thing, and yet the other slips out over tea without anyone flinching. Most schools of thought hold that the absent person cannot defend a reputation they never knew was being spent. So the harm lands where no one can see it, answer it, or trace it back. That is what makes it heavy. It is a wrong done to another, precisely when no one who could correct it is watching. But here the coin and the empty chair stop being the same kind of debt. A coin taken can be returned, weighed out, and set back on the table. A word about the empty chair cannot. It has already reached the ear it was never meant for. A debt of money can be settled to the last unit. A debt of reputation can only be regretted. The third grave wrong is the door from the very beginning, the heaviest of the 3, the unjust taking of a life. Move west to a quiet street in Fez at dusk, a wooden door with old iron fittings, shut, its shadow stretched long across the stone. A door that should open again tomorrow has been made never to open the same way twice. A verse of the Quran frames it in the largest terms there are. To take a single life without right is spoken of as if it weighed against the whole of humanity. The scale barely moves, and yet one small thing outweighs the empty pan beside it. A coin can be counted, and a word can be traced, but this cannot be returned. I find it worth being honest here. Schools of law weigh the edges differently, where a court passes lawful sentence, where a life is taken in self-defense, where a death is plain accident. but the center holds. Deliberate, unjust killing sits among the very heaviest wrongs. The door stays shut, and everyone understands why. So if a coin can be counted, a word can be traced, and a life cannot be restored, look at what the three share. In most schools of thought, what makes a wrong grave is not its noise, but how far it travels past the point of return. The coin returns to the table, the word does not. The life does not. That is why, where a wrong can be closed, the community treats it less as a stain to hide than as a debt to settle. The borrowed coin, weighed out and set back down. A child watches an adult set the borrowed coin back down, and years later sets one down while smaller eyes watch. Picture all three at desk: the silver coin, the empty chair, the shut door. But let me be honest, I looked at a category of wrongs here, not a verdict on people. None of this undoes the harm. The life is not restored. But many Muslims are taught that the door of sincere repentance, Tawbah, stays open to the one who did the wrong. So the quiet question is yours, not mine. Which of the three sits on your own table tonight? The coin you can carry back, the word you can own to their face. The door is the one you guard before it ever shuts. That is faith in practice, not a rule recited, but the weight you choose to set down while someone smaller watches you do it.